Hey guys, it's Zero again, and I've got another product kind of overview. Um, I picked up the cottage bundle from EnderToys off of eBay, and originally I wasn't gonna pick these up. I was on the fence about it because we have so much scenery for our fantasy table already. But I have a couple projects that I wanted to do, and I looked around and I felt like some of these would work for that project. I'll show you guys in a minute. But I picked these up from eBay. It was about $36, $37 shipped. Not too bad for four buildings, but I have some concerns or some thoughts on this stuff. My concerns initially, obviously, like I said, did I actually need this for our table? My other was, how are these going to fit in with the rest of the scenery we have? And would they looked small? They looked small to me, and I was like, I'm not sure if this is going to fit size wise, and they actually are pretty small. I can show you each one. They all have different footprints. It's 3D printed, and as I was concerned, my concerns were that 3D printing marks would be visible on the models, and on these they definitely are. This stone cottage, this one here, is, give me one second, let me turn the light on for you guys. There we go. That's big, that's brighter. So this stone cottage, you can't see it too well because of the stonework. Kind of like the ruined walls that I picked up. I mean, the details there. The roof is kind of cool. It's got a random shingle pattern, but because this model was built on a computer, you can see the repetition in pattern, and some of the detail, like in the chimney here, it's a little bit iffy, a little hard to see. And this one, more than any of the others, I mean, it looks cool, and just at first glance, you set it down, it'll fit right into any fantasy village or town. But this figure, this is 25 millimeter. When you set him, I'm gonna try and set him as close to, yeah, there you go. You set him next to that door, like he barely, you see what I'm saying? Now, you take your average Games Workshop guy, he's not making it in that doorway at all. I mean, this is not a giant. This is just like a beefed up, it's like a barbarian. But you can see it's really, really small. And the doors get progressively bigger on each one. Here's a the double level. And again, you can actually see how small that door is. I don't know why. I don't know what program they were using. I don't know, what scale they're. I know when you print, from what I understand, when you're printing things, you can change the scale of the print as you're doing it. Like you can set it so it's like 75 times or 75% of the actual, model size in the file. So if the model's obviously 100%, you can drop it down to 75 so that it prints, a smaller model using less plastic. And a lot of times they do it, it's like real subtle, but you can actually tell. These two guys have very small doorways. Very, very small doorways. I'll give you a quick look at this one. I do like the details in the windows though. They've got the iron bars in there. I think that's pretty cool. That'll be easy to paint up. The shingles are really, really uniform. Like almost like a new type of shingle rather than something from a fantasy village or medieval town. And I don't know if you can see that, but right here, it's kind of like that. It just filled in some space. There's some nice detail here, like with some little woodwork. But if you see, there's little burrs all over the place. I have to file down and sand. But then, like I said, there's detail here, these little bars. But then the roof, it's just kind of like, it's like, okay, there you go. There's your roof. You know, it's not even actually even. Look, there's, you probably can't even see that. There's a little, look at that. See? A little piece right there. Just broke off. There's the other side. That's, I mean, it is what it is. You know, and again, this is just terrain I'm going to drop on the table to fill up space. You know. And I think, you know, in all honesty, it should work for Dungeons and Dragons really well. Here's one of the other ones. Let me show you. I apologize if that's not coming off too well. And again, the shingles on this and this has got the poorest roof in my opinion out of the four. I mean, that roof is just, it's just really, there's no detail at the top. It's just a big wedge of plastic. But you know, you get what you pay for. They're really smooth on the bottom, and that's where it sits on the printing plate. But you can see, you can hear it too. That's that print line, like you can see the lines. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna take some creative painting to like hide that a bit. I could sand it, but this is really strong plastic, and having to sand every single, you know what I mean? That's way more work for this than I'm willing to put into it, you know? And I don't expect everything to be perfect. I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like I want to go through all that headache. Here's the last one. This is a really tiny house or cottage. It doesn't even look like a cottage to me. It feels like an outhouse. But it's got one of the biggest doors in this whole set, believe it or not. The Chaos guy could actually fit through that door, which is hilarious. Smallest building, biggest door. That. And actually, you know, the more I think about it, is it worth $37 for these? I don't know. The chimney on this one is also very lackluster. It's got better shingles than some of the other ones. Actually, they all look different too. That's cool. I mean, they're very straight, you know, forward, but they're different. They're the pattern is very random on them, which is kind of nice. Even the stone one is like, you know. I was checking this out underneath. I thought this was funny. Let me see. I don't know if you guys can see this. But you see the honeycomb pattern in there? That's pretty cool. So I'm assuming that's where the support comes from. But I don't know if it goes all the way. I think it does go all the way through. It goes all the way through the model. This is pretty like solid, but these are solid. You know, they're pretty sturdy. There's no give, not too much give in these models. So, you know, again, you could base these if you want. And I have a bunch of scenery on like 1x1 bases, 1 foot by 1 foot, just to kind of cover the table a certain way. But some of these, I feel like I'll probably just leave, you know, like this, so that they make a smaller footprint, and I can kind of configure them however I want for the game that we're playing, you know. But one of these buildings, the reason I bought these buildings, one of these guys, one of these two buildings is going to be used for a special project I have going. I have the original, or the old Games Workshop watchtowers and manor house. You know, the old, you know, you guys know what this is if you've seen it. It's the old Warhammer Fantasy watchtower, and it also comes with the parts that attach the manor. You know, like the old chapel and the extensions and stuff. So what I want to do with this is I want to create a gatehouse for our table. So I'm trying to decide which one of these buildings should be used. There's a little guy here, and I apologize if it's not that good a quality. Or the bigger guy, you know, and I'm gonna build, you know, I'm gonna build a the stone walling underneath. You know, it's got to be high enough for a horse and lance to go through. I mean, that's the way they built those things, you know, or a banner pole or something. It isn't, I mean, I'm not gonna make it super tall, but this is my project, my next project coming up after I finish the watermill project. And with this one, since the door's in front, I was thinking I could actually put a little balcony, you know, something, a walkway for them to come out and, you know, whatever. And I mean, is it period accurate? Probably not even close. But the idea, you know what I mean, the premise is there of a gatehouse, you know, and we're gonna have some wall sections for the rest of, you know, so when we put this building down, that's a border. It's going to go across a 4 foot of table, you know, to cut that edge of the table off. So you know, it should lend itself to some interesting games, hopefully. But yeah, that's primarily why I bought this kit, because I figured one of these two buildings would actually work well for that project. So, and the others, you know, I could just, like I said, I could just use them as drop down terrain. There's a fire giant. I could use it for drop down terrain, you know, on our table if we just need to fill in space. You know, we have a 4x8 table, and I know most legit games are played on 4x6, but we built a 4x8 years ago, and it just makes, you know, we have 2 feet of space or a foot of space on either side for books and whatever, dice and stuff like that. But I don't know if this is worth, you know, almost $40 for these guys. I guess so. I mean, it, you know, I got them, and I have intent to use them, you know, and they're really basic, and like I said, I have intent to use one of them for that other scenery project. So, you know, I guess it's worth it. But in the end, I guess the choice is up to you. Do you know, you could actually go with paper. You know, you can go with paper. You can just go with paper houses. if it's for Dungeons and Dragons, you know, same thing, you know, it's pretty much the same. It's almost like this house, but this is bigger, this is smaller. So this could be like a halfling's house or a dwarven house. You know, everything's built a little smaller. I don't know. I mean, you could use your imagination. It's not enough size difference to really like flip out about. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just throw them all down and you have other terrain and other scenery, it's not going to matter. They're going to blend in. You know, they should blend in. It's going to be, you know, the person like myself, who I'm very like scrutinous about this type of stuff. Like that building is way too small. But for, you know, to the normal eye, to the, you know, at normal glance, it's just another house in your village. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. They're worth it. I don't know if I'm going to get any more of this 3D stuff. I personally just don't like the those 3D print lines. And I mean, I'm sure if you get a better printer or, you know, something with a more accurate file, it'll print better. But that's until they get that way. Until they get there, yeah. And Shapeways does a really good job, but they're very, 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 very expensive. I've had some Shapeways stuff done, and it's just really, really expensive. So it's cool, but it's like, yeah, nah. I'd rather get some plastic scenery or even some cardstock scenery. But like I said, EnderToys 3D printed cottage bundle. It's not bad. Hopefully I can do a follow-up video showing you guys the progress of the gatehouse. You know, really put this stuff through for its purpose. You know what I'm saying? But it's not too bad. I would recommend it. You know, it's a cheap way to get some scenery out there. You know, you gotta paint your primer, paint it up, drop them, and go. And you're, like I said, you're literally just setting them down, and you know, you're playing your game. You know, however, in whatever way you want. You know, however you want to set up your village or town. But yeah, that's what I think. EnderToys cottage bundle. Not too bad. Not too bad. Alright. Thanks for watching, guys.